this is MJ, and today we're going to be working on some Christmas ornaments. These are my Rustic Farmhouse Ornament collection, and we're doing a faux plaid pattern on these ornaments. So as you can see, I've started them off with different colors. So this one I began with white, this one black, and this one gray. And later in the video, I'm also going to show you how to do a solid color as well. So what we're going to need for this pattern is a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. And I'm using Bernat Softee Chunky. So you can use any super bulky weight. It's a super bulky weight 6 yarn for this project, or you could use 2 strands of worsted weight yarn. And if you use only 1 strand and a smaller hook, you'll just get smaller balls. So these are about 4 by 4 inches. You're also going to need some polyester fibrefill to stuff your ornament, and some twine so that you can tie a nice little bow. Or you could also make a loop with this to put on your tree, but I'm actually just sitting my ornaments into my tree. Okay, so I'm using gray heather, black, and white. So I just have some little scrap bits. I'm beginning with gray, so I need the most of it. So if you are completely new to crochet, you can go watch our beginner series, lesson number 1 on how to hold the yarn and chain. But I'm assuming in this video that you already know how to do that. And you'll also need to know how to do the double crochet, the half double crochet, and the single crochet. And I have tutorials that work through all of those stitches. So links will be in the description box. So let's begin with a magic circle. So when making your magic circle, we'll wrap the yarn around your finger 3 times, and we'll insert our hook through all 3 loops. We're going to grab the first loop and pull it through. And now we'll chain 3, and this will secure our ring. And now we'll work 12 double crochet into the ring. And for this first round, our chain 3 does not count as a stitch. Okay, so once you have your 12 double crochet in the ring, you just want to push your stitches aside so you can see these loops. Take your tail and begin to pull. And as you can see, this loop is pulling in. The loop that's pulling in, you want to take it and grab it and pull, because it will pull that other loop tight. Now take your tail and pull. So now you have a nice tight circle. To join, we're going to slip stitch into that first double crochet. And now we're joined. So for our second round, we'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And this chain is going to now count as a double crochet throughout our pattern. We're going to work 1 double crochet into our first stitch here. So that's 2 stitches. And now we'll work 2 double crochet in every stitch around. So I'll complete that off camera. Okay, so I've worked all the way around, and my last stitch here I only have the 1 double crochet because I'm going to show you how we're going to change our color. So we're starting out and we're going to do our double crochet and go through the first 2. Now instead of yarning over and going through the next 2 loops on our hook, we're going to bring in our new color, which is color A in the pattern. Our gray is our main color and our white is A. So if you're following along with the written instructions, you'll see that. So we'll yarn over, and now we're going to slip stitch to join. We're going to join in the chain 3, in the 3rd chain. So 1, 2, 3. When you join, you want to go through so that both of those loops there, and pull. So now we're joined and we've changed to our color white, and now we're not cutting our main color because we're just going to pick up the yarn as we need it. So let's begin round 3 by chaining 3. Now we're not going to work into that very first space because this counts as 1 double crochet. We'll work into the next and the next. So there's 1 double crochet and 2. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to skip the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll work 1 double crochet into each of the next 3. And then we'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And in your written pattern, you'll see that we're going to repeat this. The DCs and the chain 3 and skipping 1, 2, 3. So we're going to repeat that pattern around. So work 1 double crochet in each of the next 3. So we've skipped the 3. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skipping 1, 2, 3, and 1 double crochet in each of the next 3. So we're ending our pattern here with a chain 3. And we're going to be changing color again. So I've chained 2. We're going to bring in color B, which is black. And we're going to pull through the chain with the black yarn. And that completes the chain 3, 1, 2, 3. It is all in the white, but we've pulled through with the black. We're skipping over the last 3 stitches, and we're slip stitching in the 3rd chain of the chain 3 to join. So 1, 2, 3. Again, when we join, making sure we're getting the 2 loops there. Pull it through, and then just pull all of those ends just to tighten it up. And again, we're not cutting our yarn. So to begin round 4, we'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're skipping over these double crochet stitches here, and then we're working down 2 rows below. So we're working over the chain 3 down into these skipped stitches 2 rows below. So yarn over, work into the first skip stitch, yarn over into the next, and a double crochet into the next. And now we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is the start of our repeat pattern. We skip over those double crochets and we work into the skip stitches 2 rows below, working over that chain 3. One, 2, 3, skip over the double, and once you get the hang of this, it will go really quickly. One, 2, 3, chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and we're working down into these skip stitches right here. And now on our third double crochet, we're going to change color, and we're changing back to our main color this time. So pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. And now we want to find our main color, which is here. Keep these other pieces out of the way. Try not to get too tangled as you work. So let's yarn over with our main color again. And now this time we're going to slip stitch. I know the black is really hard to see. In the first chain of the chain 3. So you count your chains and then you slip stitch into the very first one to join. And now we'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So this is counting as a double crochet, and then we're working a double crochet in these 2 skip stitches 2 rows below. So over top of that chain we work 1 double crochet and 2. Now we'll chain 3, and then we go over these 3 double crochet and we work in to the skipped stitches here. And then chain 3, and this is our repeat pattern, our DC and our chain 3 and skipping over. So I'm just going to complete this around and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm coming back to my chain 3, and remember we'll chain 2, and then for the third chain we want to pull through our color A. I've got tails here, so we just have to find it. I'm going to pull it over to this side so it's not all tangled. So now with A, I will pull that through, and we're skipping over, and we are slip stitching into the top, the third chain of the chain 3. Going through 2, grabbing your yarn, pulling it through. And we will chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And that will bring us over, and then we're double crocheting into those skip stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're on to round 6. This may be a good pattern to follow along with the written pattern. It might make things a little bit easier for you to see the written as well as the visual as this one is a little bit more complicated if you haven't done all this color changing before. So we're just chaining 3 and working into the skip stitches. So I'm going to complete this around, and I'll meet you when I get over here again. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that back. So I've worked around, I've done my 2 doubles, and now on my 3rd double crochet we're changing to color B. So pull through 2, and now we will make sure we're not tangled again, pulling through with our black yarn. And we're slip stitching into the first chain of the chain 3 to join. And we'll chain 3, and that chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And then we're working a double into the next, into those 2 skip doubles right there. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're working into those skipped stitches. Same pattern. So I'm going to repeat that around, and I'll meet you when I get over to the other side again. Okay, so we're to our chain 3, and we chain 2 and change back to our main color on that 3rd chain. And now at this point we're done working with black and white, so we can just cut. We'll just cut those tails. Set them aside. And we're slip stitching. We're back to black again, so it's hard to see, in the top of the 3rd chain, so the 3rd chain of the chain 3. Slip stitch. And then we're just going to pull to tighten up these ends, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And you can either go in there and weave all these ends now or wait till after the next round. But you're going to just want to weave in, just make sure everything's secure on the inside before we close our ball, our ornament. So we'll double crochet, chain 3, skipping over and working into the skip stitches. So this round is the same again. So I'll complete going around and then I'll meet you back up. Okay, so I'm working my final 3 double crochets, and this time we're not changing color, so we can just continue and slip stitch into that first chain of the chain 3 to join. And now this is where we start to change things up a little bit. So for this round, round 9, we'll chain 2. And then we're going to work into the 2 double crochets below here, and we're doing half doubles this time, not double crochets. So a half double, yarn over, and another half double. Okay, and now instead of chaining 3, we're going to do a single crochet in the center double crochet. So we skip this stitch, do a single crochet, then we skip this stitch and work 3 half doubles into the next 3 skip stitches. So 1, 2, 3. We skip the next stitch and do a single in the next, skip the next stitch, and then we'll work our half doubles, 1 half double in each of the next 3 skip stitches. And a single crochet, skip a stitch, single crochet, skip the next stitch, and work our half doubles into those skip stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And we'll skip the next stitch and work 1 single crochet into the next, skip that very last stitch, and now we're to join. We'll slip stitch in the second chain of the starting chain 2. And so we've reduced the stitches down from 24 to now only 16. So our hole is getting smaller, so at this point you can flip, if you haven't already, flip your ball and just weave in those ends. So when you're weaving, you just want to weave your yarn in one direction and then go back in the opposite direction just to secure. Now you can trim them or leave them inside for extra stuffing. It's really up to you. Just make sure that those ends are all secure, that your work is not going to come apart. And then next you just want to take your polyester fiberfill or whatever you have that you want to stuff them with. It's just a tree ornament, so whatever you want to stuff with is fine. Just kind of helps shape it out a little bit. Okay. Okay, so we'll chain 1. We're going to skip that stitch and we're going to work 1 single crochet in the next. Skip the next stitch and 1 single crochet in the next. And repeat that around. Skipping and just doing a single crochet to pull in our ornament all the way around here. And then we'll just slip stitch to that starting chain to join. And we still have a little bit of a hole there. What we're going to do is fasten off. Pull the yarn through, and then to finish closing this off, it's really quite easy. Just put your yarn on your needle, and we want to weave through the front loops only of each stitch around. So I've got 3. You can do 1 at a time. If you can get a few on your hook or on your needle like this, just do that. And then you just pull it and it pulls it closed. So now we're going to weave our yarn through to secure. And back in the opposite direction. And I'll just trim. You can just sort of mold it with your hand into a nice little ball. This one could have maybe used a little bit more stuffing. And the final touch is just take some twine, really whatever length you want, depending on how much extra. And I actually just use my needle to go through and just tie. You can double knot that if you want. And there you go. So if you'd like to see me work up the solid ball next, just keep watching. Okay, so for our solid ball, I'm using wine because I'm wanting to pull in sort of a red cranberry look. So the color I'm using here is wine, and it's a really nice deep red. This pattern will be a lot easier to work up. We'll start still with our magic circle, sliding your hook through all 3 loops, grabbing the first, pulling it through, and chain 3. And we'll work 12 double crochet in the ring, just as we did for the plaid ornament. And just pull the stitches out of the way and begin to pull here. Pull that in, you'll see the one strand starts to pull, grab it and pull it, and then just take your tail, and now we have a nice tight circle. So slip stitch into the first double crochet to join, and chain 3. And now our chain 3 will count as a double crochet. Work 1 double crochet into the first stitch, and then we work 2 double crochet in each of the remaining stitches around. So 1, and then right back down into the same stitch. So 2 double crochet in every stitch around. Okay, so I have worked all the way around. I now have 24 stitches, and I will slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Push it through and join. Chain 3. And now rounds 3 through 6 will all be the same. We'll skip over that first stitch and 1 double crochet into the next and in each stitch around. So just working 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So we're maintaining 24 stitches. We don't want to do any more increases. Okay, so I'm going to work around and I'll meet you at the other side. So as you can see, now that I've done this round without doing any more increases, it's starting to take shape. And we slip stitch into the 3rd, 1, 2, 3, 3rd chain of our starting chain 3 to join. And now our next 3 rounds are going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to work them off camera. 1, 2, 3, we chain 3. We don't try to work into that very first, we just go into the first double crochet and count to make sure that your stitches are staying at 24, counting the chain 3. Okay, so we want 3 more rounds of this, and then I'll meet you back when it's time to start decreasing. Okay, so I have finished up. I'm just going to slip stitch to join. So in total, we've got rounds 3 to 6 without any increasing or decreasing. So at this point, you can pop that out and weave in that end, and then we'll stuff our ball with polyester fiberfill. So let's just stuff this little guy up. And then we're going to get into our decrease. So we'll chain 3. We're going to actually skip, that stitch, and then we'll work 1 DC in the next. Skip the next stitch, 1 DC in the next. Skip the next stitch, 1 DC in the next, and just repeat that all the way around. Okay, so we're skipping the very last stitch, and then we're slip stitching into the 3rd chain of the chain 3 to join. So including that chain 3, we now have only 12 stitches. So we've decreased, and if you think you need any more stuffing, you can add it at this point before we close it up. So for our final round, we'll chain 1, skip the first, single crochet, skip the next, single crochet, skip the next, and then single crochet in the next. And I've just ran out of yarn, so I need to join on a little bit more just to finish. Unfortunately, that happened. I was hoping I could get through with that scrap bit, but sometimes it doesn't work out. So we're going to do a thumb join here. I bring in my new yarn, put it beside, and just wrap that around my finger twice, and then just pull the yarn under my thumb and those tails. Take my tails, shove them under my thumb, just press down with my thumb and pull it to join. And then we'll put that back on and just finish. Skipping the very last, and then we'll slip stitch to the starting to join. I've almost closed that right up, but we'll close it, finish closing it off the same as we did our other ball. Fasten off. You can mold it into a nice little ball with your hand. We'll take our yarn needle and just weave through the front loop of each of those stitches around. Okay, and then you just weave in your ends. And back in the opposite direction to secure. Then we can just trim our tail. And again, we'll just grab our twine, our yarn needle. The yarn needle really makes it easy to pop that through. Probably a good idea to double knot it and then just tie it in a bow. So let me just move all this stuff out of the way, and you can see how starting them with different colors, we get a nice collection of these nice balls. And they are so quick and fast to make with the bulky yarn. You can easily coordinate up a nice new farmhouse look for your Christmas tree. It's just nice and classic in these colors, and it's so simple and fun to make. And this would be also a great project for kids if they're learning to crochet. Even if this is a little more difficult, the plain balls are really fun.